Hey, what's up? It's project time. Sunday, great day for this kind of thing. Now, if you've seen any of my older videos, you probably will recognize this generator here. I actually did a video a couple years back on this generator about if you could run an engine off of gas vapor, if that was a real thing or if that was just a myth. And I built a whole system with a gas vapor carburation into this engine, did some experimentation. It was pretty cool. I'll tell you the secret, long story short, yes, you can actually run an engine without liquid fuel, just using gas vapors. It's a little bit involved. There's definitely some obstacles that you have to overcome with it, but it's absolutely possible. But anyway, that was a long time ago. And we're coming into hurricane season here, so what I want to actually do is convert this back to regular gas tank operation, regular carburation. So I've removed my old system with the gas vapor, and this is what we're working with. As far as this setup goes, everything should be back to normal. At least I believe everything is back to normal. The problem is it's been 2 years and I'm actually missing my air filter for the intake of the carburetor, and I really don't want to run, especially a generator that's sitting this close to the ground, and it's like running a lawnmower without an air cleaner on it. Being so low down to the ground, the earth kicks up a lot of dust, these engines will suck in a lot of particulates, and then it'll wear out prematurely. So what I want to actually do today is create some kind of air cleaner system for this. I was going through some old parts. I definitely do not any longer have the original air cleaner to this. We found an old air cleaner that came off of my compressor, and I had made some modifications to the compressor and put a whole system on there that is actually like a silenced intake. So I'm no longer using the stock intake for the air compressor. And I feel like this is something I could definitely make use of here and adapt it to the engine. So that's what we're going to be working on today. It's a good day for a project, so let's go ahead and get started here. So let me actually show you here what we're working with on this engine. So this is the carburetor here, and you can see that there are these original bolt holes here for some kind of air filter to bolt onto this thing. So let me show you what the plan is here. Okay, so what I'm wanting to do here is take this plate and adapt it here to the carburetor. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't have to be exact. So here's what I've got. This gasket was on here, so this is just kind of a rough idea of the shape of this thing. And then for the size of the intake, I think I'm going to cut it right about there. Now what does have to be exact is these actual bolt holes here do have to meet up perfectly, and also we want to have enough material around this part here so that we can create a seal so this is not sucking in any unfiltered air from outside. So I'm going to go ahead and start chopping away at this plate here, and then we'll go ahead and measure these bolt holes here in just a minute. Okay, so I've got my plate here traced out like so, and I'm just going to start taking off some material here because I just want to cut this thing down to a more usable piece. Okay, so this is what we're left with. I'm probably just going to drill out the center here. I have a pretty good idea of what shape or what size that is, so I'm just going to grab a drill and we'll get on to step number 2. Okay, so now that we're most of the way there, there's just some center material that needs to be trimmed out. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the carbide cutting bit. And we'll just keep taking more and more material out of here. Okay, so after I've hit this with the carbide cutter, here's what we've got. It's not perfect, I realize. It's pretty stinking ugly. The hole's not even round, cut in the middle, but I've been having to clean up as I go because if you use carbide cutters, you know how much of a terrible mess they make. Okay, so what I've actually realized here the more I look at this project, the more I realize that this large bell housing is not going to fit to clear on the side of that carburetor. Okay, so here's what we ended up with. See, I've just trimmed this down with the cutting tool, and now when I drop the filter over it, it should just about, yep, that's good enough, just about covers all of the air filter there. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm now going to trim this one down. Okay, so after trimming everything, this is what I ended up with. So I've got a top plate and bottom plate. And we're just going to take our filter and we're going to make sure that that lines up like so. And then the top plate is going to go right on like that. So this is our air cleaning element. Okay, so we're at the stage here where I'm going to need to go ahead and start doing some welding. And what you can see we have here, this is just a scrap piece of that steel plate that I was working with that I cut to fit on these little risers. And I'm just going to take my welder and I'm just going to seal this up a little bit here. What I've gone ahead and done here is I've touched up the welds here, so now we've got a center plate to mount to. And I've actually taken our gasket and I've reformed it around here. Okay, so now that we've got our mounting plate on, I'm going to go ahead and drop the air filter in place. Outer cover. Make sure you get a good snug fit. Alright, so now we have one air filter all ready to go. Beautiful, fresh filtered air. I can always replace these filters, and next step is to just put this thing back together and see if it runs. So there we have it, one functioning generator with an air cleaner now. You know, this generator is going to serve me well through hurricane season. And I mean, even though it took a little bit of time today to work on this, I think it was worth it. It would have been a lot easier to just get on eBay and order the proper parts for this. Absolutely. But on a day like today, where I don't have a whole lot going on, this was a project that I could actually just put together from a few spare parts here in the garage. So these are the kinds of projects I enjoy doing, and this will come in handy for me this season. I've also got another generator over here. This has an 8 horsepower Briggs in it, and there's no spark to this. I just picked this up. It was actually a freebie, and the owner didn't know what was wrong with it. It wasn't running. I've tested it out a few times, and I haven't been able to get it running. So I'm probably going to do a video here in the near future showing how I'm going to diagnose this and what I'll do for just a couple of bucks to get this thing running. But these are the types of projects that I like to do, and if you enjoy this kind of content, then please check back for more videos in the future. Thanks. We'll see you next time.